gentlemen, boys and girls, it is great to be back after a couple of week hiatus. So without any further delay, I would like to welcome you to this latest episode of The Mind of Beretta. As you already know who I am, it's yo man, Beretta. As always, you can catch up with me through Twitter and Instagram at Beretta Beats if you already don't know it, or since it's been a couple weeks or so, you might have forgot, so let me be the first to remind you, at Beretta Beats, Berretta Beats, with an S on the end. Trust me, you'll find me. And I am here to tell you what, it is that time of the year. If I had the song, I would literally play that Christmas song. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to college football season. Yes, it is that time again. See, I'm not messing around with NFL right now, but actually, I got a point that I want to expound on a little later with that. But, again, it is that most wonderful time of the year for college football diehard fans such as yours truly. And it has been way too long. Yeah, it's been a few months. But last time we left off, Alabama was getting their heads handed to them by Clemson. I mean, y'all want to say that it was a close game and it was a last-second game. Well, guess what? Yeah, it was a last-second. You know what? I don't care. I hate Alabama. Alabama sucks. Let's move on. New college football season. As I say before, you can reach me at Beretta Beats on Instagram and on Twitter. Those of you who follow college football, give me a shout out. Let me know what your college football team is. Believe me, I can talk college football for a while, but again, that's kind of not the whole point of today. Although it does have a central theme to this, but at any rate, full disclosure. Went to the University of Cincinnati for 4 years. Transferred to the University of Louisville for a year and a half. Did not play any college sports. So I am basically what you would call the typical college football fan that you may think I don't know what the hell I'm talking about because I've never played a down in college football. True. But we won't go into that. Those that know me, y'all know my background. Tell everybody else to shut up. Any rate, I went to those schools. Yeah, I'm going to represent the University of Cincinnati because I went there. I happened to like the direction that the football team is headed now that we have Coach Luke Fickell in instead of that clown Tommy Tuberville. But I'm not going to talk bad about Tuberville. He had his moments. But you have to kind of understand where Tuberville came from. He came from the South, where football in the South, as you already know, is quite large. So, won't speak anything bad about Mr. Tuberville. I'm glad you're enjoying your work in the broadcast booth. You'll do fine. At any rate, my favorite college football team happens to reside somewhere about 250 miles due south of my current location, in Knoxville, Tennessee. Yep, I said it. Rocky Top, Tennessee. The University of Tennessee Volunteers. I grew up rooting them on when nobody else thought it was convenient or popular, because you always had your Ohio States, you always had your or how they call it, that team up north. You had your people that rooted for USC, UCLA. Those are the glamour teams out west. And then you had those people that root for the University of Alabama. All this roll tide this, roll tide that. I mean, literally. Everywhere I've gone in this country, and I've been practically everywhere in the contiguous 48 states, you'll run across that dude or that chick that will look at you and want to say roll tide every third or fourth damn sentence. Well, to that I say roll tide my ass. Because let me give you a little secret. You say you root for the Alabama Crimson Tide. Well, I can tell you, the folks that live in Alabama and the folks that actually went to the University of Alabama will tell you, unless you live in Alabama or you went and graduated from the University of Alabama, everybody else is bandwagon jumpers. They'll tell you that. Auburn, on the other hand, no, they pretty much want all the bandwagon jumpers they can get. But trust me, I have no beef with Auburn, because I actually respect War Eagle. But I digress. I'm just giving you just a little bit of backstory of where my college football allegiances lie. And to be honest with you, I will catch a lot of flack for it, because, you'll hear all of the old Steve Spurrier washed up jokes. Well, you can't spell citrus without UT and this, that, and the third. Well, guess what? At least I'm not a bandwagon jumper. I'm going to ride and die with the University of Tennessee. Speaking of which, as of this recording, since we are recording on Labor Day, and by the way, I would be remiss if I didn't wish everyone a happy Labor Day. But, again, University of Tennessee will be playing Georgia Tech at the brand spanking newfangled Mercedes-Benz Stadium down there in Atlanta. And my God, that place is gigantic. I mean, you can just tell by the pictures that it is enormous. And of course, since it's all brand new, it's going to have that new car smell. You know, you get in there and you get in your seats and you take a look at the whole sight line and everything inside of the stadium. And I mean, everything just has that old new car smell to it. You just got to love that new car smell in your stadiums, especially when the concrete seems like it hasn't even fully cured yet. But again, I digress. At any rate, I watched a few games, just bits and pieces of some games over the past weekend. Of course, been out and about, and work takes precedent in a lot of cases. So I happened to catch Howard University. Look, let me be the first to stand up and salute Howard University. That right there was a mighty, mighty big upset of UNLV. Now, listen, Are we going to mistake UNLV for anybody in the Southeastern Conference? No. Are we going to mistake UNLV for anybody in the top tier of the Pac-12? No, we're not. However, a reputable Division I squad like UNLV taking a loss from Howard University. Again, I want to stand up and salute you, because that was a Herculean effort. That was a Herculean effort. Again, shout out to Howard University. Y'all pulled a good one off. So, I'm just thinking to myself, I was actually going over some of the scores of some of the games that I missed, and I found a couple of surprises. Number one, Texas, I mean, that's not a surprise. They're going through some serious changes down there. I mean, me personally, I don't think that they gave Charlie Strong enough of a chance, but I do understand, because when it does come to the University of Texas and high profile programs in this country, you have to win. It's as simple as that. You have to win, and you have to beat the teams that you should beat, and you have to destroy the teams that are in a much lower class, a much lower echelon than you are. And the games that you're supposed to lose, you're supposed to win them by at least 10. So, another kind of a surprise to me was number 2, Ohio State. Hey, shout out to them folks up there in Columbus. I mean, they got to win. A win is a win is a win. But, hey, they're not the team up north. But Indiana, you kind of want to kick them in the teeth every opportunity that you get. Every opportunity that you get. Alabama, well, I wasn't exactly shocked to see them beat Florida State. I was shocked that, I mean, even though it was a 24-7 score, I mean, that really wasn't much of a game. Alabama seemed like they had it in control from the opening gun. So, I mean, this is Alabama. Roll Tide my ass. Let's move on. Defending champion Clemson, they did their thing as well. Michigan beat Florida. That's kind of surprising, I suspect. But at any rate, I know y'all probably checked ESPN or Fox Sports or wherever you get your sporting scores. And, hey, well, punch back in. All right. Hey, listen, I apologize for all of the... Oh, Christ. Yeah, let me turn that timer off. I apologize for the technical difficulties I'm having. But as I was saying, yeah, you've gotten your scores wherever. So, one thing that I do want to ask, though, amongst other things, is that we as college football fans, we celebrate every year of college football. We have our favorite teams. We have our fight songs that we play on our cell phones whenever we get a good damn chance to. More often than not, you will see me in my bright orange Tennessee hat. Got the jersey, got the scarf, you know the whole deal. Everybody roots for their college football teams. But given the circumstances of where we are in the country in regards to social issues and racial issues, things of that nature. Why are we not asking the question that actually is turning out to be the 800-pound elephant in the room? If we are boycotting, or some of us, I should say, so-called trying to boycott the NFL because of the backlash over the Colin Kaepernick situation, that being him taking a knee or taking a seat during the national anthem, why are we not speaking out and threatening to boycott the NCAA? Because let's be dead ass about this. The NCAA has their significant problems as well. And don't even think for a single solitary second I'm going to let anybody try to get the argument off of, well, these kids are going to school and playing football for that school and they're getting an education. They shouldn't be getting any other stipends or any other monies from it. They're getting an education. They need to be happy about that education, and they need to shut up and take care of their business and finish their education. Okay. Yeah, that right there is the typical argument you would get from any random person that doesn't believe that. And before we go any further, yeah, let's just get this out here. The overwhelming number of players in the NCAA Division I college football, and for that matter, college basketball, is of African American descent or other persons of color, Latino, Samoan, take your pick. So let's just call it exactly what it is. The NCAA has a really bad image problem when it comes to this issue of having players being able to either earn extra money or flat out get a stipend, because you have that old guard of people, athletic boosters, things of that nature, that say, once again, these students are getting an education. They need to be students first, then athletes afterwards. Oh, yeah? Okay. Go up to Columbus right now. And you tell me, once you've taken a look at all of their glorious athletic facilities and their monuments to Ohio State football, that being Ohio Stadium, you tell me that they want these athletes to be students first and athletes second. Go ask the volleyball players at Ohio State or at Penn State. Hell, or how about at Alabama? Go ask them. If it wasn't for college football and college basketball, a lot of those other athletic programs at these colleges wouldn't even be able to fund themselves. So, long story short, you could pretty much say that the NCAA, in a lot of respects, is just as bad as the NFL. It may not be in this particular respect of speaking out on social issues, because there's not many college players that I've seen take a social stand on anything because they will have their scholarship revoked from them within 30 seconds of them opening their damn mouth. But that's just the way I see it out of my eyes. But the NCAA really does have an image problem when it comes to that. And in respect to college football, after all, these kids are young men, I should say. Don't even know why I'm calling them kids, but these young men, these young, for the lack of a better term, student athletes, they're spending 3-4 years at the college level playing, making millions upon millions upon millions of dollars for their programs, their respective programs, and not even being able to get any type of financial stipend or anything like that. But that's a whole nother argument for a whole nother day. My question only surrounds the fact that if we're calling ourselves boycotting the NFL, why wouldn't we boycott college football? And to be blunt honest with you, that's a very good question. Does that make me a hypocrite? I know I asked that a couple weeks ago. Does that make me a hypocrite? Because I am 110% fully behind Colin Kaepernick, because he stands for ending police brutality of all individuals, but primarily of unarmed black people. Now, we can go through that whole argument if you want to about the All Lives Matter and Black Lives Matter, but I'm here to tell you, anybody that says All Lives Matter is full of crap. And I'm trying to be nice because I literally could go off on a month-long tangent full of every expletive in the book when it comes to that. So, yeah, I'm fully behind Kaepernick because the NFL evidently only wants to pick and choose the things that it supports, just because they don't want to upset their white team owners. I mean, that's really what it boils down to it. And so you don't hear anything from the college ranks because it's predominantly, these colleges are predominantly run by white men. These athletic programs are headed by predominantly white men. These Division I teams, I can only name 3 African American head coaches in all of Division I. I can only name Kevin Sumlin down there at Texas A&M and Charlie Strong down at South Florida. The third one, I mean, I know there's a third one, but I can't name them. But the point still remains. This is the whole NCAA is dominated, as the NFL is, by white men. And we're not having the same discussions about equality and equal treatment and quote unquote fairness at the college level like we are with the NFL. Like, we're hammering Roger Goodell. We're hammering these NFL owners. But we're not going back to these colleges and talking about fairness and equity and being able to get these kids something to where they can get some damn pizza once a week during the off season if they want to. I mean, if you really think about it, are you telling me that all of those scandals back in the 70s and 80s with SMU, University of Miami, I mean, hell, take your pick on any of these schools as far as giving improper benefits and things like that, giving these players access to cars and things of that nature. Do you think any of that would have gone on or would have had a chance to go on if students were able to get more of a monthly stipend so they wouldn't have to go out here and try to do something that they shouldn't do or be enticed by said athletic booster? You know what I'm saying? I'm just throwing this out here. I would desperately like for everyone listening to shoot me a comment on this, because I mean, sometimes I might be wrong, but I do know that there is a serious disconnect with our love and our allegiances for football. Because, again, we love college football, but there's a certain set of us that are boycotting the NFL when they're one and the same. So, just curious about that. That's probably something that'll have to be discussed in another forum. But before I go, I did want to revisit the whole NFL boycott with Kaepernick. I think those that pay attention to sports and pay attention to some of the rumblings that goes on, translation, if you listen to ESPN radio like I do on a daily basis, you can kind of read the tea leaves and come to the conclusion that as far as for everybody else that's taken a stand, as Kaepernick took a stand, they're pretty much being allowed to make whatever political or social stance that they choose to known without any real fear of repercussion. But what you also hear is some rumblings that basically Colin Kaepernick has become a pariah. Almost to the point where he martyred himself for the cause, which if I was in his shoes, I would have done the exact same thing. Damn the NFL, damn this damn contract. There's something, I mean, everything that's going on socially, racially, and dealing with things in this country in this day, in 2017, it's bigger than a contract. It's bigger than the job at the local warehouse. Hell, it's bigger than my job driving a truck. But when you really think about it, we're doing this protesting, we're doing this boycotting of the NFL, knowing full well nobody's going to give Kaepernick a shot now. Because, again, he basically martyred himself for the greater good. I've heard it said through a couple of different outlets that the only reason you don't hear any flack about Marshawn Lynch sitting for the national anthem is because, number one, he sat for the national anthem for years. Number two, he is making a political statement. He's been making that political statement for years. And most importantly, number three is the fact that because of how Kaepernick chose to handle his situation, it could be viewed as the players that are taking a social stand now got permission from the powers that be in the NFL. Translation, they got permission from their white daddies. Not saying that they're these white men's sons, but you get the point that I'm making. It's almost as if they got permission from the NFL, and they also got permission from the owners to make their social stance, which, hey, listen, you do what you do. As long as you get the message out there, that's all that matters. Colin Kaepernick didn't ask for permission. We as African-American males and females shouldn't have to ask for permission to not be shot while we're unarmed by crooked law enforcement. Colin Kaepernick didn't ask for permission, and this is why he's no longer in the NFL as of this moment. Which begs the question, what is this boycott really trying to accomplish? And somewhere along the line, within the next couple of weeks or so, I hope to be able to have an honest discussion with a couple of people that might be able to shed some light on really why should we be boycotting the NFL when there really is no tangible evidence that it's going to help Kaepernick get back into the NFL. That's somewhere down the line, though. But at any rate, that's pretty much all I've got on my mind right now. I'm getting ready to watch this Tennessee-Georgia Tech game coming up here soon. So this has been the Mind of Beretta podcast. As always, you can reach out to me through Twitter and Instagram at Beretta Beats. BERRETTA Beats. Once again, shout out to Spreaker.com for helping me host my quaint little podcast. And as always, I will get with y'all soon. Peace.